What's up, guys, and welcome back to Maverick Postgame. Today I'm very excited. I've got an amazing guest today, head coach of CMU football, Tremaine Jackson. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Can't wait to get started.
Yes, sir. Let's just get right into it then, man. I got a bunch of questions for you because you are very, very interesting to me because I'm excited to talk to the head football coach. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just hopping in, it's your first year here. In 19 football coaches, you are the first black head coach here at CMU. Does that have any significance to you at all?
Yeah, it does. It's baffling, one, because I know I'm not that good to be the first, but I'm honored to be the first black coach here, head coach, and so it's been fun. It's been great for our community, I think. I think it's been great for our school, and so I'm excited to be here for a while.
Speaking of the community, I know that when you came here, a big part of you was getting involved with the community here. I know you're interested in helping out the city as we go through a lot right now. There's COVID going on. There's the talk about systemic racism and then police brutality and injustice, which we're going to get into. But what made you want to get so involved with the community?
Yeah, you know, when I interviewed here, that was a deal. When I got off the plane, I realized what kind of community I was in. And I said, man, CMU can be Grand Junction's team. It can be the Western Slopes team, and they're not playing very good football on the Front Range. We could be Colorado's team. But in order to do that, we understand that people support people that they believe in. And so we wanted to get people to believe in us by going to them first and being in the community. And in a community like this, where we are the prime location, I felt like if we gave to the community, they would give back to us.
That's amazing. Getting connected with the fans and the people here in Grand Junction at Colorado Mesa, I absolutely love that. I can already tell just by talking to you, you're a very personable person. It's easy to connect. I like that about you, man. I could see why the players will kind of come with you. Would you consider yourself more of a player's coach?
I do, but it comes with, I consider myself a lot like somebody's father. There's a lot of good things that happen, and when they're wrong, then we hold them accountable. And, we love them to death. We love them when they're doing right. We love them when they're not doing right. But when they're not, we tell them. And we're brutally honest in our program about a lot of things. And I think that being honest and transparent with young people makes them attached to you a little bit more.
See, that's amazing because you think when you get hired, you are hired to win football games. But as a head coach, you're more than that. You are a father figure. You know, I heard that you got the entire team registered to vote, which I think is an amazing accomplishment. Kudos and thank you for doing that.
We appreciate it.
So when you decided to become a coach, did that aspect of, hey, I need to kind of take these incoming students, whether high school or college, and kind of groom them into being young men, was that a huge aspect to you?
It was, because I'm only doing what someone did for me. I had a coach in high school that I was a father. I came from a father's home. He took me in. All of my coaches in football took me in, but my high school coach really took me in. He had played in the NFL. He grew up in my neighborhood, went to my high school, so we had a lot of things in common. Him and his wife, they took me and made me theirs. I stayed at his house for a little bit. Between him and my grandmother, those are the two most influential people in my life. Both of those people, I asked to pay them back. I said, hey, how can I pay you back? You guys have done so much for me, especially him in football. He said, if you think I've done something for you, then just do it for somebody else. I don't need a house. I don't need a car. Just do it for somebody else. And at that moment, I knew right then the only way that I could do that was to become a coach.
That's amazing. We were talking about it a little earlier, how you see people go out, whether it's coaching or playing, and you watch them, but you don't always understand the story behind them. And it's amazing to hear your story of where you've come from, and because I know that a lot of the people you are grooming now have similar stories that have gone through stuff. I think that what we've gone through is what makes us who we are. Fighting through adversity to become out better on the other side is a truly amazing thing, and it's difficult. It's not everybody can do it. So a major kudos to you for doing that, because to come out the other side and be grateful nonetheless and want to give back is just a truly amazing trait that I appreciate, and I'm super happy to have you in a coach on campus. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Well, we're glad to be here.
Yeah, moving back a little bit to how you got the team registered vote, because right now, I mean, we're going through a lot. Civil injustice, systemic racism are huge issues right now. And thank God they are finally being brought to light. But in the light of everything, we still have issues. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. What have you told the team kind of about growing up as potentially a young black man in society today?
Well, first of all, if you want to be heard, you have to use your tools that you have. And the biggest tool that we have to be heard in this country, to me, is the right to vote. And so you have to use what you have. And so that's one reason why we registered this football team. Not trying to be political, not trying to tell them who and what party to vote for, but just letting them know that they do have a voice. And also allowing them to understand that the presidential election is just a piece of the pie. We want to be able to get with those city and state representatives and people that we vote in there too, to really impact change immediately in our community. And so we wanted to be educated. You know, coaching is teaching to me. I'm no different than a professor. I'm just a professor of something that everybody actually likes. And so we look at it that way. On the flip side, when you talk about the Breonna Taylors and the George Floyds, that was really big for me because I see myself as a George Floyd. I actually saw George Floyd play high school football growing up in Houston. So it hit a little home for me. In every great movement, somebody has to die. Or something has to die, whether it's your reputation, whether it's a actual person, unfortunately. And so when that happened, I saw myself. I saw that happening to me, and most of all, I saw it happening to our players. And so we wanted to be on the forefront, and all we did is listen to the players. That's all we did. We didn't try to lead a movement. We sat back and we let our players talk to each other. White, black, Native American, Hispanic, whatever you are, let's just sit back and talk about the real issues. Very proud of our players because they are not you see the NBA boycotting the game. You see the NFL doing different things to address social injustice. This team wanted to address it in going out to play football together and winning. And they told me, they said, Coach, we don't want to do anything but go out and show people how people from different nationalities and cultures can come together and work toward a common goal, which is winning. And so they told me how they wanted to handle it. So it was really fun. And that process of letting them continue to talk to each other is fun as well.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage to be able to speak your mind freely.
Yeah.
And when you create an environment that has no judgment, no hate, it makes a family.
Yeah, it does.
I believe, and once we start talking about football, I believe that'll show on the field this year. Because continuity, especially within the locker room and the guys you're with, you guys spend hours and days and blood and tear and everything with, I mean, those guys become your family.
Yep.
Another issue going on right now, COVID. And it's got to be even harder coming into your first year and being hit with COVID and isolation and everything that's going on. How have you managed to kind of teach this team to come together?
Yeah, when you are fighting against something invisible, you have to go back to your core, in my opinion. When you can't control the virus that's going on in the country right now, but you can control how you go about your daily routine, how you wear a mask, how you follow directions really well, and make sure you're not infected by the virus. And that's what we went back to. We went back to our core of doing things the right way. We knew that we were going to have some issues with COVID because everybody is, and everybody, is trying to figure this thing out as we go. But we knew if we intentionally did the right things, intentionally followed our procedures and processes, then we could keep our players safe. And it's made them really check each other and then check where they go. Our guys just don't go to the grocery store anymore freely. They make sure that they're the only ones on the aisle because we just don't know where other folks have been. So it's really made us check our processes and be very cautious of how we go about our daily lives. But I think that's good. I think we needed to kind of get back to that anyway and not live so reckless.
It's important to be cautious. Mm-hmm. And once again, fighting against adversity, through all the challenges that you face, you don't even fret. You don't bat an eye, you just walk right through it.
Keep moving.
Exactly. All right, let's get into some football, man.
Yeah.
You are coming from a defensive background, defensive line coach at Texas State University, and then also defensive coordinator at Abilene Christian University.
Yeah.
You turned that program around.
Yeah.
And now I did a little bit of research. I noticed that more at Texas State, you guys ran a 3-4, I believe, on the D-line. And that's also what we did at Mesa last year. But I noticed that you guys run a bunch of interesting packages.
Yeah.
You guys throw in a little bit of 5-2 there. You kind of like to get the outside linebacker on the ends, get them blitzing, maybe confuse the offense a little bit. Are you planning to bring in some of that to Mesa?
Yeah, you know, we got a defense coordinator, Brandon Anderson. He was with me at the University of Sioux Falls. He's way smarter than me. He was even when he was my linebacker coach. We like to make the simple look complex. And so what looks complex on tape is really simple for us. And so we don't call ourselves 3 down or 4 down. We call ourselves multiple because we can give you multiple looks on defense and we can give you multiple looks on offense. And so we're just a multiple football team. And hopefully we're able to get guys to run to the football and tackle extremely well because at the end of the day, schematically, it doesn't matter if you can't run and you can't tackle.
Exactly. And being multifaceted definitely offers a lot.
Yeah.
So coming back to the defense last year, averaged, giving up 30 points a game, 200 yards on the ground. Are we going to change that this year?
That's the plan. You can't have any fun if you can't stop the run. And that's just what it is, man. You know, it's been in my background. You talk about the Abilene Christian turnaround. We were able to take over one of the worst defenses in the FCS. And before we left there, they were top 25 in a bunch of categories. And rush defense, I think we might have finished top 10 or top 12 in the country. We did that for one reason and one reason only. We emphasized stopping the run. The two years I was there, and it seems like a long time ago, but the 2 years I was there, we made it a purpose to stop the run. And we tell our kids, if we stop the run, we can have some fun because, as you've already seen, we do have some multiple packages that we can get to and that are really video game-ish creative, where our players can have fun and hit the quarterback in the back of the head, as we like to say.
Yeah, and that run really drives the offense because if you can get the run going, you get the play action going, you get those linebackers to suck up, hit them over the top, and that creates a big play, which leads to energy. And momentum is such a huge thing, especially in the game of football.
No doubt.
Let's move over to the offense a little bit. Previously, this has been a run-heavy school. Mostly run, a little bit of pass, and then try to get that play action set up. I don't know if you can tell us, but are you trying to be a little more balanced this year, a little bit even, or is it just going to kind of go depending on the game plan?
Yeah.
You know, if we got our running backs killing it, let's just keep running them.
Well, you know, it depends on what the defense is giving us. If they're light in the box, then we're going to run the football. If they're heavy in the box, then we're going to throw it. It's not a huge science for us, but we do understand we have to run the ball to win championships. We can't put our defense in bad situations by throwing it and turning the ball over or going extremely fast. We got to be multi-tempo, multiple run-pass options. We want to be able to do a lot of things, and I think that responsibility is going to rely on the quarterback. When we get our quarterback settled on, he's going to be able to drive that bus on what we do. But make no mistake, you're going to see a physical run game. Our offensive coordinator, Nick Fulton, is an old offensive lineman, and he might coach quarterbacks, but he's going to get us in the right run play as well so we can be physical and knock people off the ball.
Physicality is definitely a big part of football. And you can be physical and you can take the other team's will to play.
That's it.
That is a big motivation right there.
Yep.
Speaking of some of your guys, I know we got Aaron Howard, Hayden Bollinger fighting it out for the quarterback right now. You got Trey Wyndham, who's coming on last year. You know, you got a bunch of new guys coming in. We lost Peter Anderson, who is our school receiver, led in every category. Best receiver we've ever had in school. You got some new guys coming in that you're excited about seeing?
Yeah, we do. You know, Bradley Toussaint is a kid that was here playing receiver last year. Really excited about the it's fall camp that we're in right now, basically, but really excited about the practices that he's had so far. We've got a kid named B.J. Brown. That's a transfer kid. He's 6'2 and a half, 6'3". He's a bigger kid that can run. And so I think we're going to have some weapons at receiver, not just in one area, but in multiple areas. You know, you talk about the two quarterbacks. Gavin Herberg is a freshman from Pine Creek, in-state kid that's won a bunch of state championships. You know, he walks around with a chip on his shoulder. You can tell the kid's won a lot of football games. He's what our program is going to be about in the future, that we're working toward getting to, where when we walk in the room, we know we're going to win. He has that swagger right now, and he brings a lot as a freshman. So we're really excited about his development and his growth throughout our program. And so, You know, we got a lot of guys, man. I just got off the practice field and we're catching balls, and I'm finally looking at guys and going, man, we might have a chance if we can stay healthy and do some things. So really excited about this team overall.
Well, so weird to see you guys. I can't wait to see the new offense, the new defense.
Yeah.
Speaking to versatility, is that something that is important to you, being able to have guys move to multiple positions, have running backs go out in the slot, having linebackers go out and cover backs? Is that something that you preach, or is there any specific player that has that type of versatility on defense that you're really excited to see?
Yeah, you know, we got a guy named Remington Green who is a linebacker for us, but he has the ability to play some different positions for us. Another kid named Justin Allman who can be a safety outside backer. Those are two newer guys that comes to mind, and so we do like versatility. We don't like a guy that can't play multiple positions because, again, we try to make the simple look complex, and we've got a way in our defense to make things, make guys feature their talents per se. And then on offense, we like guys that can flip positions, play receiver, play running back to create matchup issues. And if you can do that on offense and get somebody to get away from the box because they're afraid of a receiver that's at the slot, then it opens up other things in your run game. And so, yes, we love the versatility on both sides of the ball. And even in the kicking game, we love versatility on punt and kickoff return. And so we're just a versatile football team, I guess you could say.
I don't know if you guys hear it now. I'm like freaking out. I'm so excited right now. He's speaking my language. This is amazing. You guys, I'm so excited. Yeah. Obviously, we do not have a normal season right now because of COVID. You guys do have a scrimmage tomorrow, and you've got some games scheduled. What have you kind of told your team going into them? How are you guys feeling as a unit?
Yeah, you know, the first opponent on our schedule is us, and we tell our kids all the time, the Mesa Maverick football team has to beat the Mesa Maverick football team. We have to get out our own way. We've got to fix the penalty issue that we had a year ago. We've got to tackle well. We've got to block. We've got to protect the football, not turn it over. So we've got to get those things worked out, and that's what we're looking forward to in our scrimmage. Then when the season comes, you know, it's unique because you do have COVID, where it's that invisible injury where if a guy gets COVID, he's out for 2 weeks at least. And so you got to be able to manage your football program through all of the adversity on the field as well as off the field. But here's what we know. If this is and always will be about us, and so whoever they put on the schedule, I joked with the other day on the radio and said if they brought the Green Bay Packers here, it would be okay as long as we did what we needed to do. And we beat the Green Bay Packers in my mind. And so because of that's what we preach, because that's how we go about our business, we just look at the schedule as just another obstacle week by week that we got to get over. The plan is to go 5-0. If they add a 6th game, the plan is to go 6-0. And if they add 8 more, the plan is to go 14-0. It's just what it is. It's what we're about now.
You alluded to discipline with penalties like that, and a mentality to go and crush your opponent and to go 8-0, 14-0, whatever it may be.
Yep.
This all speaks to the character of the guys you have in that locker room. You've mentioned a bunch of them so far, and you've talked a little bit about who they are. But the character that your team is going to show on Saturdays is crucial.
No doubt. No doubt.
So what do you see in your players in terms of being a family? Yeah,
family for us stands for forget about me, I love you, first of all. And we use that weekly in our program. We always tell our guys it's our job as coaches to love them. It's their job as players to love each other. That's what family is. Even when we're up and down with each other, or we're mad, a little mad at a guy, DB's mad at the receivers, O-line mad with the D-line, at the end of the day, we all wear the Maverick and the interlock CMU on our helmet. And so we preach that a lot in the program. You know, we have a culture, and that's one thing I'm really proud of our coaching staff and our leadership council. We were able to instill the culture over Zoom and kind of get things moving. So when we got back this summer, you could see it. And our culture is simple. Here's what it takes to be one of us. You have to be disciplined. You have to be obedient. You have to have a lot of grit. That's our family. That's what we're about. Those 3 letters stand for dog. So we might be Mavericks, But in time, we're dogs. And everybody in football says, hey, I want a dog. Well, we define what dog is. It's discipline, obedience, and grit. That's what it takes to be one of us. And that's our last name as Mavericks.
Oh, we got some dogs. All right. I'm so pumped for this right now. You are getting me jacked up. I'm ready to go run through a brick wall for you, man. I can already tell. All right. I got a few more questions. Mm-hmm. Is there like a motto you have that you tell the team going into the locker room right before you're about to walk out onto that field, Saturday Night Lights, baby, whether it's going in to get your team pumped up?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, we talk a lot about the direction of our team, where we're going. We talk a lot about nothing is bigger than the team. We also talk about loving each other. We talk about the little things. But our theme this year is set your face. And so we talk about having our face set every time we walk out there to where nothing matters. Nothing from the side can distract us. Nothing matters but the guy across from me that I have to beat into the ground. And so set your face is something that you might hear us say a lot. We'll always talk to them. When we leave them messages and text them, we hashtag it as set your face. That's us. That's what we're about. And so that's what we tell them before we go in. That's what we tell them when we come out. And so that would be probably the main thing.
Yes, sir. I'm all ready for this, man. All right, last question, man. Yep. You excited to be a head coach?
Very excited. And I'm very excited not just for the football, but for the opportunity that we get to affect kids' lives. You know, if it had not been for football, I don't know where I'd be right now. And actually, I probably do know where I'd be, and it's probably not very good. And so this game is life-changing. And I'm not saying that any other game isn't, but there's nothing like being a football player or a football coach or being involved with football. So I'm very excited. The game isn't my game day. Game day for me is waking up every morning, coming into the office and getting a chance to see these kids, and that's why I wanted to be a head coach. And so I'm ecstatic. We moved all the way to the western slope of Colorado. I had never even spent the night in Colorado. Very thankful to President Foster and Brian Rooks and Chris Mort for giving me an opportunity to be the head coach here. And we don't take that lightly. So we're going to do everything that we can to win, both on and off the field. But make no mistake, it's going to be physical, and it's going to be a process that we're going to bring a championship back here outright, not just tying for one.
Well, we are happy to have you here. You have filled this room with juice, man. I wish you the best of luck this season. Please stay safe in these crazy times, and thank you for everything you do, especially for the community, and especially for these young men that you were teaching. Really appreciate it, and thank you for joining me.
No problem, man. Anytime. Look forward to it.
All right, guys. Tremaine Jackson, head coach of CMU football. Make sure to go check out some games because we've got energy, we've got juice, and we got some dogs. Baby. That is right. Let's go, baby. Thank you so much for joining us. Yep. We'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Thank you.